Trade rumors, trade deadline's about to come up. JoJo, I don't know if you want to, speculate. I know, there's a lot of talk. We're going to talk about the unicorn. We're going to talk about Ohtani. Ohtani over the weekend, through his, or was it yesterday, last night, through his first complete game, a one-hitter complete game.
No, that was today. And let's tap into that. So today, and I realized why that game was so early that we were talking about before the podcast started. First, complete game, shutout with one hit. He had one hitter, unicorn. Do you know what he did about a half hour ago, Gabe?
What did he do?
Saw the notification on my phone in the second game.
Tell me, you updating me. I'm learning live, just like you.
Not one, but 2 home runs. This man just hit in the second game of this doubleheader. So how you go from throwing a one-hitter shutout, complete game, and then the next game you're hitting 2 home runs?
Jesus Christ!
Listen, man. All right, so
MVP.
All I gotta say is, right, it's been a lot of rumors before the deadline where Ohtani's gonna land. Should the Angels give him up? Right? Should they, hold on to him? And the only answer that is correct is to hold on to this guy. If you look at the standings, they are how many games behind in the wild card? What do you got? 3.5 games behind. And if you they had 2 wins today. Well, I'm not sure if they won the second game, but you're right there. You are right there. This is a once in a generation talent, 2-way player. You can't get rid of him. And I'm only saying that because they should go ahead and actually acquire more players right now before the deadline. That's what they should be doing. Acquiring talent so they can make it to the damn postseason with Trout and Ohtani. And you're that close. This is your best opportunity. Right now, I think if they were to give him up, they're way too close to give him up right now. You're 3.5 games behind, and you got the second half of the season to get that job done.
I absolutely disagree because obviously Trout coming off injury, he broke his foot. He had surgery July 5th. We're at the end of July. I think a smart person would say yes, keep him. But after this contract is up, and do you really think you can keep him in Los Angeles as an Angel? I absolutely do not think. I think he is up for. Going across another team. Like he's going to be on another team probably next year. But I think he's going to stay on the West Coast. There's a lot of talk. You talk about you're wearing your Yankees shirt. Maybe possibly go to the Yankees, big market team. International. I think he's going to stay.
Did it?
Yeah, I think honestly, I think Ohtani's going to stay on the West Coast. It could be Seattle. It could be the Padres. It could be the LA Dodgers. It could be the Dodgers. I've heard rumors of Texas. I don't think it's going to be Texas, but whatever. I think he's going to stay on the West Coast. It's going to be some California, some West Coast team.
It's going to be a team that spends money. Dodgers. So if you narrow that down, it's either the Dodgers, potentially the Giants, but I don't see the Giants doing that.
If you're about to give a bag to Aaron Judge, so they got some money.
That's what I'm saying. If you're only talking about 2 teams that have the money and want to spend the money, it's really only the Dodgers and the Giants. There's no way he's going to San Diego. I don't think they're going to put the money into him.
No shot.
He's not going to Seattle.
Not with the contracts they have.
No, Seattle's definitely not. Seattle's not a big money team. They're just not that.
They're a young, exciting team.
I mean, who? Yeah, but
you're going to trade your young talent.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. Another thing about if they're going to trade him,
maybe. You're keeping the fan base in Los Angeles. He's actually going to play in LA now, and maybe like you said, maybe the Dodgers want to move from Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah, I was going to say he's already in LA, so it's not going to be a hard transition from him from LA to LA. If he goes somewhere, also it's like the trade value. Like what do you get? I don't think they're going to trade him. I honestly think the Angels are going to try to keep him.
Well, it's more about just trading. It's about who's going to want to spend the money for his contract.
Even if you do trade him, I don't think you're going to get equal value because he is, in my opinion, the greatest generational player in my lifetime. The greatest player I've ever seen. I thought it was A-Rod. I thought it was Griffey. No, it's fucking, it's fucking Ohtani, man. Ohtani's the greatest player ever.
Besides West Coast, East Coast, West Coast, you got to look at what league he wants to play in as well. American League or National League. So you really got to deep dive into that because there's different rules, different players.
Yeah, and there's a pay scale too. If you want to stay with a team, like how do you get paid as a hitter? Do you get paid as a pitcher? Because you perform at a certain thing. I think he's fucking in the running for MVP. He's got to win this year. I'm sorry,
he's going to be the highest.
He had an insane June. His June wasn't crazy. So it's like one of those things. Like, oh, do you get paid as this? You get paid as that. You do both excellently well. Like, even if you stop pitching, let's say you fucking hurt your arm, you can still fucking hit and run. You're still a power hitter. Kind of insane to think of. So I think the Angels. My opinion, what I think is going to happen. Angels going to keep him this trade deadline. He's not going to move, but I think afterwards he's going to go to another team. Somewhere in the West Coast. That's just my guess. I don't know what team. I can't tell you specifics of whatever contracts.
As of 2 hours ago, it says that the Angels are all in on Shohei Ohtani. He is not available for trade as of 2 hours.
Here we go. They're trying to make that playoff push. They're going to make that
If the Angels
push.
don't make the playoffs and they don't re-sign Tani when he reaches free agency, Moreno would be convicted of industrial circles of making Neanderthal mistakes and send the team back years.
Neanderthal mistake.
Don't send Ohtani, man. Ohtani's the greatest.
I'm telling you, man, they're going all in this year, right? This is their best chance. They're only 3.5 back. They should be looking for talent to bring in to play with him right now. That's what they should be doing. Find your weaknesses, acquire before the trade deadline, get into the playoffs.
And dude, at the end of the day, the Angels, I think, need him just from a business perspective. If you're in LA, they're viewed as the Anaheim Angels. There's a reason why they were the Anaheim Angels, and they changed the name to Los Angeles Angels. They will always be second class to the Dodgers.
They're the Clippers to the Dodgers Lakers.
Even worse, because at least the Clippers play in Los Angeles. Like, this is they are the Anaheim Angels to people over there. They're not the Los Angeles Angels, even though they changed their name to that. And it's like, if you want to not be the second class citizen in Southern California, in the LA area, you got to keep the big names. You got to keep Trout. You got to keep Ohtani. If you want,
but what are they doing to support him?
Because you're in direct competition
man,
with the Dodgers.
They're still second class. No. They got to win. It doesn't matter who they have.
And that's what I'm saying. So you cannot give away, potentially, like Gabe was saying, the best player of our entire generation, potentially even ever by the end of his career. Like,
what I would say, only
if this
because
is your chance to take over
they have a chance. Only because they have a chance right now, right? If they're that close. Now, if they were looking like the Athletics and, like they have in the past, even with Trout.
But it's deeper than this year, though. It's deeper than just this year. I mean, you're talking about years. Like, I mean, if you can lock him up for at least the next 5 to 7 or however long his contract will be, it's about having like the long-term effect, not just about now. It's like, maybe they don't make it this year. Next year they revamp in free agency or whatever, and then who knows? But as long as you can lock him down, like that is
well, it's not just like
one priority.
What I'm saying is, look, but like, sorry to bring it up. It does matter this season because Ohtani is not going to decide to stay if he knows he doesn't have an opportunity to win. If they don't make the postseason this year, his head's going to look the other way.
That's what I'm saying. Keep him, acquire him. Yeah. Keep him, acquire him. He's really good. What are you doing to support him? How are you giving him run support? How are you giving pitching support? How are you?
No,
what else are you feeling around him?
But they're not doing anything this season. The Angels are going to add there's not going to be any serious acquisitions until once the season's over. Like, realistically, unless they do some crazy,
they have a few. They still,
but are they going to do like what are the? Do you think they're going to do something though? Like, do you personally think they're going to make major changes?
I think they have to. I think they have.
But do you think they will do it?
I think they're going to attempt.
Look, I think
they're going to attempt.
I think if you can figure it out, I mean. I think you're only asking so much of what you can do in a season. At the end of the day, I think if you can,
the one-man show right
honestly,
now.
Honestly, if I'm an Angels fan, or if you're, I would rather them be able to work something out with him to stay than miss the playoffs this season.
Not gonna happen.
I'd rather miss the playoffs this season if you can get him to stay.
There's no chance he stays if they don't make the playoffs. They need to focus on the right now so they can focus on tomorrow.
Yeah.
And they're in that
I think
situation.
there's a pitch but there could be a pitch to be made. Like, hey, We don't make it this year, but we're revamping this free agency. We have this person's free, this person's free, this free.
No. Listen,
I just don't believe
the
like
last 2 years of him being the best player. Like that. That's it.
This is the Damian Lillard situation. Like I want to be here for a rebuild.
He's been the best player.
I'm saying
arguably.
to hold.
I know Judge won MVP last season, but you don't know. It's like a Giannis right now, right? He's getting better and better, and we're like, what the hell's going on? Giannis sooner or later got that ring, so it's like, all right, that's off.
Okay,
that's off his shoulder now.
Okay, yeah. But if you're making this whole inflection point is just they make the playoffs. Okay, what if they make the playoffs? They're bounced out of the next round. Does that really matter at the end of the day? Like, okay, yes. Yeah, you can say you made it, but like,
yes,
you did. It's about matter. It's about making a run at the end of the day. It's like
for them,
if you squeeze in the playoffs. My thing is like if you squeeze in, who cares?
What was the last year the Angels made the playoffs? They need to just get in. For baseball, it's a big deal because it's so hard to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
like even if it's a wild card.
If you make in and then you bounce, like versus like maybe just being outside, is that really a big difference? Because like we said, I genuinely believe at this trade deadline, if they make any move, if any at all, it's not going to be game-changing moves that are going to turn this team all of a sudden into a contender. If they make it a move, then maybe they can possibly get in the playoffs. But like at the end of the day, Angels still have to do something to recruit him to stay. And you're going to have to do something this offseason. It's still the offseason.
You can make a run. You can make a run, man. I'm telling you, just like in football, right? You're saying what's the difference in making the playoffs and then becoming one game away from making it? It's either you make it or you don't make it.
Yeah.
You're not like
no. But I'm saying if they make it and then they get bounced, like, does it matter at the end of the day? Like, is that going to want to make him stay anymore? It's like, oh yeah, we made it, but it wasn't like this team was built to actually go deep in the playoffs. We just got bounced the first round.
I'll tell you, like, as a fan,
the team still needs to get revamped in the offseason, regardless. They still need to add pieces in the offseason.
I mean, yeah, that's any team, though. You know what I mean? Yeah. Every team will revamp in the offseason. Doesn't matter. There's only one championship team, regardless.
I'm just saying, I only think there's so much they're going to do this trade deadline. Like, there's only so much you can do or would do. Like,
as a fan, if I say he's the greatest player I've ever seen, the greatest player of my generation, I want to see him in a World Series. It'll be a waste of talent, a waste of time, and for a franchise to have a great player and then never do anything with him. That's Mike Trout was supposed to be that guy. Mike Trout was supposed to be the guy. And how many World Series have you seen Mike Trout in? And now you got Mike Trout and you got Ohtani, two generational players. Never did anything. Never seen a playoff. Never.
No,
seen a World
I understand.
Series,
what I'm saying is to. No, I completely
Julian
agree.
wants longevity. He wants a sustainable team to make a deep run, which I get. You think this deadline is not going to patch that up. Well, what I'm telling you, I'm
just saying to base your next 5 seasons or whatever, just based off what happens this second half of the season by what they did in the trade deadline is weird. If you go into the offseason and we're like, hey, Ohtani, we've added this piece, this piece, this piece, this piece. You're the last on here. And we've made space for you, and these are the people that we're bringing in because to help support you and Trout, then he makes the decision there. But then if they end up pulling nothing to the table, like there's nothing we could do, there's nothing, then it's like, all right, yeah, fuck you guys, I'm out.
I'm gone. Out. There you go.
Well, here's what I'm trying to say,
like, you know what I'm saying, no matter how we make the playoffs, like, I mean, like, you can barely make the playoffs and whatever.
Well, listen, and I get what you're saying.
Reason why you stay.
Well, what I'm saying is, one, he's never made the playoffs since he's been there. So this season is the make or break. If they can at least get in, that will help them carry on to what you're saying. Hey, we made the playoffs. We can build off this. We are now a playoff team with what we had, and then we can add on. That would be a better case for him next season. Whereas, okay, we didn't make the playoffs again. He's gonna take money and go somewhere else. That's
I agree with you. Like saying that, like we made this is going to be a better pitch, but I'm saying just to say like you made the playoffs, but then you still come in this offseason and did nothing about it. Just because you made the playoffs this season, but then you still didn't add anything, I'm still going to be out.
They might not be able to do anything this offseason if they're going to pay him all that money. They might not even be able to do that. That's what I'm saying. They need to go now and acquire some stuff at the trade deadline to give them the best chance. Because
I know, but I'm saying then if they're
not going to pay him $400 million on top of Trout's whatever $300 million contract.
So then, what you're saying in general is that pretty much
Trade him
just
away. That's what I'm saying. Trade him away. Get rid of him because you can't.
Because if you're saying that you can't afford him regardless, like you say you are able to pay him, and then but now you have no money to bring pieces around him, he's not going to want to stay for that. So
but
it's like
Julian,
he's going to leave regardless.
That's what I'm saying. You need to hold on to him as much this year. This is your best chance. Don't trade him. Gabe wants to trade him now. I'm saying no. Get him pieces now to at least see what you can do in the playoffs with him. This is your chance because he's gonna leave. He's gonna go. But if you trade him now and you're 3.5 games behind the wild card, you're not gonna see that.
You'll never know what potentially they could do.
You're never gonna know.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of leaning toward.
If you get in the playoffs with Ohtani as your starting pitcher, who the fuck knows what could happen? You just got to win 4 out of 7.
4 games. Yeah.
Like, but can this team win? Like, yeah, but I don't know if that team could do that against some of the top in the National League.
Well, I'm just saying, though.
I mean, the Braves, the Dodgers, the Giants, like they got to get through that, and that they're just not going to get through that.
Well, I mean, that's the other.
I'm kind of leaning with like Gabe on this. Like, if you can't get nothing from them,
Yankees, Boston, Tampa.
I mean, I'm kind of with Gabe on this, where it's like, look, if you know you're looking at your financial sheet and you're like, all right, he's going to want this much money. The
greatest player of all time. The greatest player of all time. Not just any player.
We cannot,
the greatest player of all time.
but we can't put anything around him. He's not going to be happy if we can't put anything around him. He's going to want to request a trade anyways. Why not get some compensation if you know that he's probably going to leave in the offseason?
Because they're too close right now. I'm telling you, if they were
that's attention. That's attention.
They're too close. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They're right there. They're 3 games. If they were 15 games back, they would have easily made this decision. Like, all right, we'll give up on the season.
But they're so close.
The fact that they're right there, right? And today they had a doubleheader, and his performance on the mound, and it hit 2
complete game, 2 home runs.
You're not gonna look the other way and be like, all right, we're gonna get rid of this guy. Like, you're not gonna do it. You're not gonna do it. So that's why they said, you read the statement. They're all in.
They're all in. They're all in on Ohtani.
That's why they need to acquire they need to acquire now and see what you can do and get in the postseason now, because homeboy's gonna be gone if you can't afford him next season, or you know what I mean? Like, I already repeated myself.
So how would you feel? How would you feel if I said, like, would you rather them make the playoffs this season, or if you're saying as if you're an Angels fan, or would you rather lock him down for years?
No, playoffs, bro. Because you can lock him down. The playoffs still ain't guaranteed with him in 20 years, just like fucking Trout. Like, you need to make the playoffs. Not going
on a run. It would be a miracle if they went on a run in the playoffs.
Yes, you could be a pessimist or a realist.
Bro, it's not like he can. It's not like he can pitch every game in the playoffs, though. That's what.
But he can hit every game. But he can hit. That's the thing.
I mean, just like any team, right? You only have 1 or 2 aces. And really, the teams that make deep playoff runs, if they have 3 guys and they have relievers, not every team has that.
Yeah.
Just the Astros did last year, which is why they fucking took it all. The Rays a few years ago went beast mode. LA always has great pitching. Like, that's for any team. You have good pitching, like, you're gonna make deep runs. Why? Because the other team can't score.